Regular BBC daytime viewers will recognise these giants of the antiques world who light up our screens with their wisdom and charm.
I've more than doubled my money.
But what sort of things do our experts get up to when they're not on the telly? Well, we're about to find out, as over the course of 1 week, we'll be seeing one pair of plucky heavyweight dealers face a different daily challenge. Some of those challenges will be familiar territory. Yes! Some will be pitching our experts into the unknown.
Bang, bang, bang.
They'll be going head-to-head in a battle for profit, showing us how they've risked their own money and reputations by recreating some of their real-life deals.
Profit, profit and more profit.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, each expert has a favourite charity that will be benefiting from their profits. The challenge to our experts is clear. Put your money where your mouth is. Today's finely honed experts are the smooth-talking Jonty, the hitman Hearnden, and the irrepressible Eric Knocker Knowles. Jonty's status as the housewife's favourite comes from rooting around for cash in the attic and globe-trotting on sun, sea and bargain spotting. Eric, meanwhile, is very much the senior professional, with 27 years under his belt on the Antiques Roadshow. And he never lets the side down when it comes to being the most dapper dealer in the business.
Sorry, can't stop.
On today's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is, Eric and Jonty are men on a mission. Their aim is to infiltrate French territory, use their own money to purchase antiques and collectibles to sell back in good old Blighty. Which one of our highly trained experts will risk life and limb in the antiques field to win today's Medal of Honor? We have the experts, they have the knowledge, the contacts and a fierce desire to win. So, without further ado, I think it's time to find out the aim of today's game.
Bonjour, Monsieur Jonty.
Bonjour, Mr. Eric. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Now, I've got some instructions for you. I've got to give you this envelope.
Well, that's funny because I've got to give you this envelope.
Okay.
So
Right.
what? Go ahead.
See what it says. See what it says. Bonjour, Jonty and Eric, it says. Your challenge today is to spend £500 of your own money on antiques. You must then resell your purchases with the aim of making as much profit as possible. The winner is the presenter who makes the most cash.
Surprise, surprise. Today you must buy all your antiques from a local antiques market. And it says Bonnie Chancy.
Bonne chance.
Oh, bonne chance. Oh, excusez-moi, monsieur. Excusez-moi. So, shall I follow you?
Let's go down.
OK.
Good luck.
Good luck, matey.
So, with the challenge set, our two contenders retire to their hotel to prepare themselves for tomorrow's heavyweight buying bout, and they're scheming up two very different strategies.
My strategy for tomorrow will be actually concentrating on sort of French decorative arts, Art Nouveau and Art Deco, if I can find it. My strategy for tomorrow is to go round the market as quickly as I possibly can. I want to suss out everything, because if I see something, I want to nab it quick, certainly before Mr. Eric Knowles gets his hands on it. I'm going to do a lot of praying before I go to bed, and hopefully I'll come good tomorrow.
Well, after spending the night on bended knee, searching for divine inspiration, Eric wakes up to a cracker of a day in northern France. Nil-Audon is a small town in the French region of Normandy. It has just 300 inhabitants and lies to the northwest of Paris. It's 6 a.m. and our brave Knights of the Barter begin their joust from separate ends of the market. And true to his word, Jonty's galloping off the blocks at a cracking pace, and he's trying to set a new world record for the 4-minute market mile.
Mon Dieu, monsieur. I buy those for 10. So 56, 90. 20 for 2.
Yeah, for 4.
Enough. You can tell that the owner of this stall here is literally clearing out their garage. So this is the equivalent of having a garage sale in the middle of the street. And as you can see here, they're literally selling the kitchen sink. But snuck down here is a Chinese Oriental hard table. They're asking £8 for it. Now, it's a small little side table. It's not particularly old, but at home, if I was to put that into the auction sale, it might be £20, £30.
Sir Jonty is storming away. He's covered lots of ground and is preparing to make his first purchase. But what of brave Sir Eric? Will all that praying lead to a day in antiques heaven?
I'm in full rummage mode at the moment, and I'm looking hard, and I can tell you, I'm struggling. I don't mind admitting it, because if it's there, and it sounds like a conceit, but I'll spot it, because it will almost have like a red light flashing over the top of it. But I've seen an awful lot of what you might call this and that. And if you want to abbreviate that, you can, because it becomes TAT. But I live in hope, because I still get excited coming to these markets, because you know it just could and just might be there. And if it is, I intend to find it.
Well, you have to admire his determination, but whilst Eric continues to hunt for red lights and Art Deco, Jonty is warming up for his first strike of the day.
Dernier prix, s'il vous plaît? Oui? That's brilliant. That's £3 I got this table for.
Hurrah! So our legendary Sir Jonty makes himself a knight of the square table.
OK, well, let's have a look at this table. If you look at the underside here, a Chinese hardwood table like this, a lot of this would be hand-finished. I can make a quick profit just like that. A nice find.
What a start. So that's round one to the hitman, and the pressure's now on knocker Knowles. Can he land a return blow?
Well, this is a fascinating selection of French art glass, and this is a lovely little box. It's very Art Deco with that knot finial. Marked on the base, it says Sabino, and it's priced at €80. Now, you know, €80, we're talking about £70 or thereabouts. You'd think that would be well worth having. The problem is that this factory did continue into the early 1960s, and I'm simply not confident enough to buy that and sell it on for being from the Art Deco years. And that's why I'm going to be leaving all this opalescent glass for somebody else.
No score there for Eric, but if he wants to beat Jonty, he'll need to start splashing the cash, and soon, because Hurricane Hearnden is whipping up a storm in today's market.
Bonjour. Where is it from?
I don't know.
Beaujolais. Very nice.
20 for 2, last price.
I've been particularly taken by these fabulous adverts here. Isn't she great fun? 1950s, martini, wonderful. And I think as a set, you imagine them all applied onto a wall, certainly in a cafe situation, maybe back home in a restaurant. So what I'm going to do is just pick out a few and see if I can come to a price. So 56 pour 8, 56 pour 8, OK? So I've got them for about £45. That's for the set of 8. But it's all a question of, is somebody going to buy them?
Jonty hits the back of the net again. Eric can see the game slipping away, so he's decided it's time to suss out the competition and employ some devious tactics.
Hello, hello. What have we got here?
Are we doing well, are we?
I've just bought some advertising boards. Put on your wall.
Yeah, they're selling
what
them
you
down the road. They're 10 for £1. I don't know how you got on there.
How are you getting on?
It's a little bit of a struggle up there. I wouldn't bother going all the way down there. It's just not worth your while. I don't want to I don't want you to waste your time here today. So
Right.
I think at the moment, the only thing I'm going to come away with, if this weather keeps up, is a suntan. But I live in hope.
Now that means I'm going right to the bottom of the market because obviously he's spotted something that I haven't. So I'm going that way.
Oh, Jonty seems to have fallen for Eric's bluff, hook, line and sinker. And having dispatched his rival with a bum steer, Eric seizes the opportunity to take another look at those pictures.
I don't know what Jonty was doing here earlier, because I'm looking at the price of these, and they're, €10, so, sort of £8. I just can't see him in for a profit. Oh, my God, you don't want to look at this one. There's a lady here wearing little more than a smile, so that's the French for you.
Oh, those pictures might be too racy for Eric, but he can't afford to be too fussy. Jonty is being less cautious, however, and is powering ahead of his rival on a veritable spending spree.
50.
15. What about 10? I'll buy it.
What about 10? Okay. Okay.
10? Good
let's
man.
go.
Okay.
Go, Jonty, but how much does a beautiful ceramic fruit bowl actually cost you these days?
So that's about £8. I'm sure I should be able to double my money, if not more than that.
Oh, that's a great buy. And Jonty also snaps up 2 ceramic plant holders for another £8.
So that's £4 each. There has to be a profit in it somewhere.
So, after a first round in the ring, who's floating like a butterfly and who's been stung like a bee? Don't forget, both experts had a budget of up to £500 each of their own money. Jonty has parted with £65, leaving him with £435 left to spend. In the opposite corner, Eric has spent a grand total of absolutely nothing, leaving him with a full £500 still left to spend. And remember, the buying is just the first part of the competition. It gets even more challenging when our 2 experts have to sell their purchases back in Blighty. Eric will need to knock out a speedy purchase soon if he doesn't want to find himself on the ropes. Meanwhile, Hitman Hearnden is determined to spend money like it's going out of fashion.
Now, retro is incredibly cool at home at the moment. So if we look at this large set of chairs here, very 1970s. They're great fun, but I will not touch these simply because of the wear. If you see the wear on the corner there, there's nothing you can do about that. These chairs are therefore completely unrestorable. It's not even worth my while asking the price.
Hang on a minute. That's the first time today that Jonty's refused to buy something. And on the other side of the market, will Eric find something to finally answer his prayers?
Combien, madame, s'il vous plaît?
25.
25. Well, she's asking 25, and to be honest with you, it's the oldest thing I've seen here today, because much of what I'm looking at, I can tell you I'm older than it. It probably dates to about 1800, maybe 1820. It follows actually a silver shape. You see the way it's indented, and it's quite typical sort of French provincial faience. It's very nibble round the edges. It adds a rustic je ne sais quoi, you might say, in certain parts of Burnley.
But as they also say in Burnley,
There's no problem
will he put his money where his mouth is?
15, madame?
Oui.
Oui? 15, madame? Oh, that's okay. So we got it for 15. Merci beaucoup.
At last, Knocker Knowles has finally put his hand in his pocket and is now the proud owner of a plate of chips.
There's a very small profit in this piece, but it's going to look good in somebody's kitchen, maybe. Voila.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Eric has finally landed his first blow, and it's not just the gloves that are coming off.
It's time to really mean business.
Let's hope that's all he's taking off. And with Jonty getting serious, Eric has finally spotted something that he's been looking for all day.
Well, I've actually just spotted an interesting piece of Art Deco. It's a ceiling light, or as they call it in this part of the world, a plafonnière. Combien, madame?
40.
40. That's 40 euros. It's a bit too steep for me. Let's try. What about Van?
25.
25. And that's 25. So we're about £20, £22 a week. 25. Bon. Yeah. 20. Merci. At this stage, I'm not absolutely certain who I'm going to sell it to. Obviously, somebody who deals in either deco or maybe deals in lighting. It's value for money, and it's a pretty colour. It's got that nice peach to it, and the design is all there. And put a couple of silk cords in that, and, you know, one would certainly, hopefully, double our money.
With 2 items now under his belt, Eric is starting to find his form, but there's hardly a dent in his wallet. Eric will need to work hard if he wants to get back in the game and overtake his rival.
It's tough out there. I'm definitely not buying big today, but one thing I can console myself with, if it's tough for me, it's tough for that Jonty Hearnden.
How you doing, Eric? Cheers.
Jonty's not struggling quite as much as Eric hopes, but as a confident Jonty chills out on the local wine, could this turn out to be a classic case of the hare and the tortoise?
Oh, now what have we got here? Combien, madame?
15.
15.
Yes.
It's terrible, that, isn't it? You say it in French and they tell you it in English because you're so obviously English. And I try so hard with my Charles Aznavour accent, but there you go. 15.
Yes.
OK, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Is perfect. What on earth I'd put it with, I don't know. But to be frank with you, at that sort of money, you're bound to be in profit. So I'm going to...
Would you like a 20?
Would I like it for 20? No, I'd like it for 15.
No problem. No,
They're sharp here, aren't they? These French, they're very sharp.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Positive.
Yes? There we go.
I'm sorry for me.
Oh, I'm sorry for you too, my dear. But be sorry for me because I have to carry this. And I've just realised that it is...
He's heavy.
He's heavy.
Yeah.
He's heavy. It is very heavy. So I may be speaking to you in a slightly higher voice by the time I get this back to the van.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for Jonty so I can parade it past him. Oh, just something I picked up on the way, Jonty.
Eric has scored his third buy of the day, and ever the keen strategist, Eric hunts down Jonty to suss out how he's doing.
Spot an Englishman.
Hey up, hey up, hey up.
How's it going?
Well, it's tough going, I don't mind admitting.
Well, I'm finding it a bit the same, actually. It's so beautiful here, isn't it? The sun is shining and it's so picturesque.
Yes.
But where are the antiques?
They are thin on the
I'm
ground.
glad you said that because worried you might have bought them all.
Well, no, I mean, I don't think I'm going to spend all my money here today. I've spent X amount and I expect to make at least £500 worth of profit, but that's another matter. What about you?
Well, I'm about the same.
Are you?
Yeah,
Level
£500 or
pegging?
£600 profit. That's where I'm at the moment.
Do you know something? Well, do you know thing we both share in common? We're both terrible liars, don't we? Anyway, bon chance, eh?
Yeah, see you later.
Yeah, never say die.
This cunning pair are playing a wily game, but as the half-time scores come in, who's the man of the match so far and who'll get left on the bench? Don't forget, both experts had a budget of up to £500 each of their own money. So far, Jonty's 4 purchases have cost him £65. He's picked up some great buys and still has got up to £435 left to spend. His opponent is lagging behind. Eric's 3 items have only cost him £44, but he's still got up to £456 to spend, and he doesn't have long to get rid of it. The hitman may have kicked off with a strong start, but after taking his eye off the ball, knocker Knowles has made an astounding comeback. They've both got pots of cash left to spend, and there's everything to play for. But when the final whistle blows, who will be picking up the trophy and who will get the boot?
Now on the stall, everything's marked, everything's labelled. So this dish here has €3 price tag on it. It's probably a fruit bowl, and if you look at this floral design here, it's French. But you can tell that it has no real age to it if you just turn something upside down. And just have a look at those feet there. There's no real age or wear to that at all. So I can tell that it's 1960s. Now back home there's a kitsch market. Now there's kitsch and kitsch, but at €3, I've got to have a go, so I'm going to buy it. Merci. Now I know I've got bad taste, but I'm surprised Eric didn't spot that. That's appalling. Merci, monsieur. Okay.
Ooh, harsh words from Jonty, but on the other end of the market, Eric seems intent on proving him right about his bad taste.
Well, this is a piece that sort of shouts its period because it's a palette shape. We've obviously got a cheese board of sorts and a cheese knife with its original ceramic handle. And this palette shape was very popular in the 1950s and the early 1960s. As for the maker, well, there's nobody owning up to it. Usually these were being made in Germany, and invariably they're not marked. But either way, it's nice to get one with its original cheese knife. Now, this type of pottery has become very collectible just in recent years. And what's more, I've got a mate who actually collects it. So I've got a potential buyer. It all depends on the price. So let me ask the lady. Excusez-moi, madame, combien?
8 euros.
€8. So that's €8. So I think at that sort of price, we're talking about £6 or £7, we'll have a go. Oui, madame. Merci beaucoup.
Well, it might not be the most attractive item he's bought today, but it's profit that counts. And with today's contest so close, 1-star find could prove the clincher.
Now we've got 4 very decorative pub signs here. They're in fact promoting brands of beer. Now there's one thing that completely puts me off these mirrors, and it's simply because they are brands that are unrecognisable back home. Now take this enamel sign. Big collecting area back home. but it's not saleable. It's just not translatable. So be very, very careful of that if you are considering buying these sorts of things. They have to be brands that are universal. So the French might want to buy it, but I think that this will be almost unsaleable back home.
Jonty might not like these mirrors, but it doesn't take him long to find one that does reflect his taste.
Now, I've just bought this mirror, and I want to show you the reasons why I bought it. We've got this oak frame. It has a lovely continental feel to it, but have a look at the beveled mirror. This is the angle of the mirror on the side. That's always a sign of quality. And what I like about the glass itself is that it looks antique. Can you see the spots on the mirror? That's a sign of a mirror aging. It tells you instantly that this is an antique piece of glass. Date-wise, French, late 19th century. So what do you think I paid for it? Not £150, not £100, £65. Bargain.
Yes, a great buy for Jonty, but whilst he's getting down to business, Eric seems to have become preoccupied with the stall holders rather than the stalls themselves.
Something about owners looking like their pets. I don't want to say too much. You may speak fluent English, but just look over my shoulder.
Ah, très amusant, Eric. But you really need to focus on the finish line and get cracking, because whilst you've been people-watching, the hitman has found the Art Deco piece that you've been so desperately hunting for. But is Jonty's bargaining up to scratch?
25. 25? 20?
Ah non.
Non? 23?
Non, 25.
25? OK, 25.
Well, Jonty's French may deserve high marks, but his bargaining skills get 0 points.
Merci. So that hanging in somebody's hallway has to be worth more than £20. Little bit of a gem. And I have to say, I'm staggered Art Deco Eric has not spotted this. I'm going to show it to him and rub his nose in it.
Oh, that'll really rattle Knocker Knowles. He's been hunting high and low for Art Deco, but Jonty seized the moment. Now, is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Now, one of the attractions for me coming to any French market is the sheer variety of lighting that they have on offer. Now, the prices may be attractive, but one thing you've got to watch out for, of course, is the fact that these pieces need totally rewiring when you get them back to the UK, despite the fact that this looks all ready to go. And also, do make sure when they are rewired that you get it done by a professional, and then you can sleep easy at night in the knowledge that it's been made safe.
That's good advice. But with time running out, Eric needs to bag himself the bargains if he's to stand any chance of catching up with Jonty.
Now, if I'm looking over my shoulder, it's just that Jonty's just around the corner. And although he is a furniture man, and that is his strength, when it comes to wrought iron, I think I might be just that little one step ahead of him. It's a lovely hall stand. It's made of this wrought iron, and you can see you've got your place for your umbrellas. You've got a nice little marble slab that could be polished up very neatly. Enough for 6 coats, and you can stick what you want on the top. The mirror's a little bit tired. You can see it's got some damage, but that all adds to the character of it. Excusez-moi, monsieur. Excusez-moi. Combien de prix?
90 euros.
90 euros. Now, that's 90 euros. Let me think. That's about 72 pounds. Well, I'm not even going to haggle at that price. I'm just going to say, d'accord.
D'accord.
Merci, monsieur. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
And that Jonty Hearnden's getting nearer and nearer. I want a big sign on this that says sold to Eric Knowles.
That brings Eric nose to nose with Jonty as this race enters its final furlong. But can one of our antiques thoroughbreds find one final gem to push them over the finish line ahead of their rival? The race is on.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Combien de marble? 50.
Peace.
For cash.
I hope you sell it. Now, that looks interesting. It's like a wardrobe, late 19th century mahogany, without a mirror. Now, secret. Come and have a look at this. Inside here should be shelves, if it's correct. Aha, there you go. That's a bookcase. Close the door. Now, what we do is take this panel out, put a clear piece of glass back instead, paint the whole thing, and voila, a shabby chic bookcase. So the question is the price. It has potential, a piece of furniture with potential, but it's all down to price. Monsieur, s'il vous plaît? Oui. C'est combien? 200. 200. We're in the right ballpark, 160 quid.
200 euros.
100. I'm being cheeky. I'm asking £80 here.
100.
100? Because it's pretty ropey.
Ouais, il y a des trucs. Bon, c'est bon.
Oui?
Ouais.
Merci, monsieur. Very good. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. 80 quid. There's so much potential, so much profit.
So, with the photo finish, who's the prize-winning stallion and who's been put out to pasture? Remember, both of our experts had a budget of up to £500 each of their own money. Hitman Hearnden used up almost half his money, leaving him with £269 unspent. Knocker Knowles just about dipped into his bank account and spent £122. But what will they think of each other's bargains?
Well, Eric, I don't know about you, but I think we've got a few bits of wheat and an awful lot of chaff.
It was tough going out there, Jonty. I have to admit, it was tough going. Yeah. But you're happy with what you've ended up with? That's
well, I've got an awful lot of work to do if I am going to be happy. I mean, do you like my firewood?
Yeah, you're good luck with that one. I think you're going to need it an awful lot. But I tell you what I do like. I like that dish, sort of loosely based on a killer shark, isn't it?
Yes, but it's run over killer whale. And I like your Chinese hat.
Yes, well, I was told it was found on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, actually. But I tell you what, if we found it difficult to buy out there today...
Just think about selling.
Exactly. So, good luck, mate.
Yes, good luck to you.
We're both going to need it.
We know. See you later.
So, at today's French market, Knocker Knowles bought a chipped china plate, an Art Deco ceiling light, a corned beef marble slab, a pallet-shaped cheese plate, and a wrought iron hall stand. His rival, Hitman Hearnden, purchased a wooden oriental table, a set of decorative prints, a squashed shark fruit bowl, a pair of ceramic plant hangers, a delightfully kitsch dish, an oak-framed mirror, an Art Deco light shade, and finally a shabby chic wardrobe. The challenge for our experts now will be to sell all their wares back in the UK. So, after a fiercely fought battle on the antiques fields of France, our two intrepid experts have returned to the UK to prepare for the second part of today's challenge. The aim now is to sell on their spoils of war to make as much money as possible for charity.
Well, we're now back from La Belle France, and I'm quite happy with what I bought.
Did you see the hat and coat stand? Who's going to buy that?
I've got a lot of telephoning work to do because I bought such diverse objects.
Who wants to buy marble? You know, second-hand marble. God bless him.
I've got to find at least 5 or 6 different potential buyers. So that's my next mission.
The wardrobe could be a big challenge. I need to phone around, see if there's any dealers that will be interested in buying it. So, for instance, if I can sell it as is, then great. I'll just take my money and run.
With both our experts prepared to put their contact books to good use, the race is on to make the first sale and bank the first cash.
All right, well, thanks for the lead anyway.
Hello, I wonder if you're interested in a pair of wall planters. Yeah, the pale blue ones. Do you want to have a look at them? Can I send you a picture? Yes? No? OK. Thanks so much. Bye.
The winner of today's challenge will be the expert who makes the most profit regardless of how much they spent. The hitman spent £230.20 at the French antiques market. Eric, lost to the big spenders Knowles, splashed out a whopping £121.80. So he's clearly never heard the phrase you have to speculate to accumulate. So Jonty's in front in the buying department, but has higher value items to sell. The pressure is really on Knocker. If he's to have any chance of winning this contest, he needs to get the best possible prices for all his items, and after a flurry of phone calls, he set up a potential deal for the Art Deco lampshade.
Well, I'm pushing my luck here because I've come to one of London's top vintage lighting galleries, and let's hope they recognise quality when they see it. I'm sure they will.
Don't forget, Eric bought the lampshade for £20, but how much will he be able to make on it?
What an emporium!
Thank you.
I mean, talk about seeing the light. It's quite magnificent. This is the treasure.
Right.
From La Belle, France. I'm sure you're not surprised.
A lovely bit of French Art Deco there.
Well, it is, isn't it? Let's just put it up as it should be, and because once you get a light through these things, it makes a whacking big difference, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah.
A nice peachy glass. I mean, not signed by anybody. I mean, you may recognise it for being somebody, but I don't. The only thing really missing are those nice silk cords, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, often they got destroyed or damaged over the years.
Yeah.
So Knocker's worked his magic and the shop owner sounds interested. But he needs to get down to business because elsewhere in the capital, the hitman is aiming to make a killing on his biggest buy. He looks to be in determined mood, so what has Oxfordshire's deadliest antiques agent got up his sleeve?
I've decided to sell my wardrobe for a quick profit, so I've come to West London and I've had it delivered to a mate's shop. Now, this is an old stomping ground of mine because I'm concerned that if I have to repaint it, that's an awful lot of work. So I'm going to see if I can make a quick profit.
It's a devilishly cunning plan. And if he can make a profit on his most expensive item, it'll leave Knocker shaken and stirred.
Ah, Johnny, there you are.
Hi, Jonty.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. I see it arrived safely.
Well, most of it.
What do you think about it?
It's a bit of a car crash.
It's a lovely, beautiful mahogany piece of furniture.
Yes.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Now, what would you do with it?
Unfortunately, we'd probably have to paint it.
And would you put a glass there or a mirror back in here?
We'd put a mirror back, I think, yeah.
Okay, fine, because it's got the adjustable shelves on the inside. Interesting, that.
I mean, you could do something, you could put mesh or something like that on the front of it, chicken wire, but we'd probably mirror it.
Is it worth £250 to you?
I don't know, there's a lot to be spent on it. Maybe if we could get to something closer to 175?
Well, let me think about that. Hold on, let me think.
It looks like Double O Hearnden's plan to cash in quickly on the wardrobe could be about to pay off. £175 would leave him with a handsome profit, but he's coolly calculating how to up the price even further. So, Agent Knowles needs to get as much as possible the Art Deco lampshade that cost him £20.
Well, the great thing about your shop, I mean, I call it a shop, it's really a gallery, isn't it? Is that you've got price tags everywhere. So it begs the question, what sort of price tag should we be putting on this?
Well, what do you want for it, Eric?
Well, I was looking to start around about the sort of £60 mark.
Excellent work. Starting high is the mark of an experienced negotiator.
I'll give you 30 for it.
£30. Now, we've never done business before, have we? And to be honest with you, I want it to be a meaningful experience for both of us. So, what about we pitch it around about the £40 mark? Is that acceptable?
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal. OK.
Nice one, Eric. A done deal and the first cash in the bank.
See ya. Well, not a big money deal, but paid £20 for it in France and just sold it for £40 here in London. The name of the game is make a profit, and whenever you can, double your money. So far, so good.
Yes, thanks to a little northern know-how, Eric's doubled his money and he's showing the first profit of a cool £20. Despite being well on the way to profit land, Burnley's best antique expert still faces an uphill task because his arch rival is closing in on a deal for the wardrobe. Remember, the shop owner has offered £175, but Jonty is determined to get more.
Let me think about it. What about £200?
200, we've got a deal.
Yeah? You got a deal?
Yes.
You're a good man. And also you're a brave man. There's a lot of work to be done there.
£200 is a fabulous price for the wardrobe and rockets Jonty to the top of the profit leaderboard. His profit total now stands at an impressive £120. But our furniture fanatic isn't done yet. He's taken the wooden table that cost him less than £4 to another dealer he knows to see if he can back another quick profit.
Hi, George.
Oh, hello, Jonty. How are you?
Good. I've bought you a little present.
Oh, lovely.
This lovely, good quality Chinese hardwood table.
Brilliant.
Got some real age to it. I love the carving.
Yeah.
Very good quality. And I was really taken by it. I just wondered whether you might be interested in it.
Yeah, I like it because I like this part, the legs.
Quick sale, I need 50 quid.
Brilliant.
Would you like it?
Yes, very much so.
George, you're a star.
Pop it down, then I'll sort it out in a minute. OK.
It's wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. See you soon.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, that's gotta hurt Knocker. Jonty's just made a very quick £46 on the table. He's now made over £150 worth of profit.
I'm chuffed to bits. That table has cost me less than £5. I've just sold it for £50. And what pleases me even more, I know the dealer who's bought it from me will make a profit out of it too. Really chuffed to bits.
So, Jonty, man of the people, Hearnden, secures another deal, and although it's early days, he's piling the pressure on Eric. Back with Knocker Knowles, the man himself is working hard to find a buyer for the 18th century chip plate he bought for 12 quid.
A killer with a few chips on it. Yeah, well, no, there's no fish, just chips.
With no joy on the phone, Knocker Knowles decides to hit the road and try and find a buyer for the pallet plate. Remember, he paid just over £6 for this, and he's hoping to sell it to a dealer in North London for a very tasty profit.
Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you, Eric. How are you?
On time as well. I'm very impressed. I'm holding my breath that you were as impressed with this as I was.
You couldn't miss it, could you?
You couldn't really. I mean, complete with knife, an artist palette. It's got the original, well, obviously it's a cheese knife, but the idea being it's a palette knife sort of thing. I've always maintained that when it comes to knowledge of this area, that you are, without being nauseatingly sort of patronising, preeminent.
Nicely done, Knocker. A bit of flattery never hurts.
You like you want to buy? That's what I want to know.
How much?
I was thinking somewhere around about £30, £35, but, you know, I'm open to persuasion.
20 whole English pounds.
20.
You know
OK,
right.
20.
£20.
OK. Now, in the art of negotiation, I know now, I can tell by the look in this man's eyes, that's where it stops. So I don't do any more haggling. I say to this man, I say, yes, OK, and I then shake his hand, like that.
We've got a deal.
I did see in his eyes that 20 quid was his upper ceiling, so there was no point haggling anymore. I'm in for a nice profit, I'm not complaining, and the client is happy. And we're all happy, and that's what life's about, just being happy.
Well, if anyone knows when he's come to the end of the negotiating line, it's Eric. But he's happy to have bagged another sale. So the happiest man in antiques has secured £13.70 profit on the pallet and knife, and has a true cheesy smile on his face. Eric's mood is further improved when his chip plate brings in another £20.
£20 for a late 18th century Luneville faience plate.
Oh, it's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
Thank you very much.
Despite Jonty's two fantastic furniture sales, this battle is still too close to call. But after the first round of selling, who's the leader of the pack and who's favourite to be sent packing? So far, Jonty's only sold 2 items, but he's banked £166 profit. Eric has sold 3 items, but he's only made £41.70 worth of profit. With everything still to play for, Jonty decides it's time to check up on the opposition to try and get some vital intelligence on Eric's progress and his plans for the second make-or-break bout of selling.
Right, I think it's time to call a Mr. Knowles.
Aha. Mr. Hearnden, I do believe.
Hello, hello.
How goes it, if I can use a little French? How's the world of firewood, Jonty? I mean, are you finding any buyers for this material?
My firewood is sold, mate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, in fact, I'm sitting by my pool right now.
Yes.
With a drink in my hand.
Yes.
In fact, I'm in my reclining chair.
Yeah?
You know, it's all sold, mate.
Jonty, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you taken your medication today? Because I don't believe a word of what you're telling me. Not a word of it. Don't doubt you may have sold the furniture, because, you know, you haven't got a conscience.
That's below the belt, Mr. Knowles. That's below the belt. It may be firewood, but it's fine quality antiques you're talking about. French antiques we're talking. How are you doing with your hall stand? What's the price for scrap metal at the moment?
Well, you know, the whole stand, what can I say? I mean, the problem there has been, I've had so many calls about it, you know. I just have to keep upping the price every time, and, you know, they're fighting for it, Jonty. They're fighting for that whole stand.
I know the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you ought to get back to selling, mate.
Just do the worst you can, all right?
I wish you well.
No, you don't. You don't wish me well at all.
You know me so well, that's the problem. Take care.
Oh, I'll reciprocate. Au revoir, monsieur. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Scrap metal, I don't know. What a load of rubbish. And I've been proven right. I just have this hunch that poor Eric is struggling like crazy.
Well, the hitman seems pretty confident, but if he knew what Eric was up to, he'd be much more concerned because the maverick knocker Knowles is on his way to take on Jonty in his own backyard. It's a high-risk tactic, but Eric's got 2 last items to sell and he's determined to keep his position as the top gun of the antiques world.
Well, this is Great Milton in Oxfordshire. It's the home of Lasco. They are architectural and salvage experts, and I've arranged for my hall stand to be delivered here, so they've had time to look at it and decide whether or not it's for them. Let's find out the verdict.
Well, as Eric cruises into the shop to find out if the owner is interested in his hall stand, elsewhere in Oxfordshire, Jonty's putting a different strategy into practice. He's decided to wait for the customers to come to him in his shop, and after putting the word out, it's not long before one of his regulars takes the bait.
Oh, I like these.
I've just had a cunning thought. I know this lady quite well. I know she likes colour. And I've got that bowl to sell still. I think I'm going to show it to her, but it might take a bit of a hard sell. Sandra?
Yes?
I've got something to show you.
Fantastic.
It's very special. It's a French glazed ceramic fruit bowl. Now, I know you like colour, but I thought it might be up your street. Do you want to have a look?
Well, yes, I'll have a look. It's a bit colourful, though, even for me.
But I thought this was fun. I thought
yeah.
it could be up your street.
Well, it could be, and then it couldn't be.
Well, it's kits, really, isn't it?
No, it
1960s
is.
kits, French.
Absolutely. How much?
£25. It's a bargain.
No way, no way. Am I paying £25 for that?
Yes, he might have paid less than £3 for the dish, but he's going to have to work hard to make a profit from it. The pressure's on, though, because Eric's turning on the selling afterburners as he tries to sell his star item.
I see you've found my French masterpiece.
Yes, just arrived.
The wrought iron craftsman's, what would you call it? Well, I'll call it a hall stand.
Hall stand, yeah.
Don't forget, the hall stand cost Eric just over £70. If he's going to have any chance of winning this fight, he needs to at least double his money.
What do you think?
Oh, very nice, yeah. Useful thing.
Yeah.
Quite decorative. Yeah, I'm quite interested in that. You bought it in France?
I did, yeah. I mean, it shouts French, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I realise it's not, it's not pure deco, but it fits nicely into that sort of 1940s period, which is very popular at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the method it's put together, these are welds, but it's all very decorative. It's a nice thing, and I think, I mean, forgetting the style and everything, I think it's just a very useful thing because it's narrow, it's small, so you can put it in a narrow hallway. You come in, you throw your car keys and your iPod or whatever on there.
Yeah.
Your brolly goes in there, coat there, hat on the top.
Exactly.
And it's just really useful and quite decorative too. So, yes, I was wondering how cheaply I could acquire it.
I was looking for, somewhere in the region of a couple of £100 on it because, I mean, you know and I know, you go and have one made and it's an arm and a leg.
No, you couldn't make it for 3 times that.
And I thought it's very stylish. I like that grey marble slab. I think that works very well.
With Knocker turning on the charm to try and get a whopping £200 for the hall stand, Jonty needs to do a deal for the yellow dish. He might have paid less than £3 for it, but he's struggling to sell it to one of his regulars who's refused to pay £25.
OK, 20.
Not even 20, I'm sorry.
15. I'm going down. Look.
You're getting desperate.
I have to sell this.
Listen, am I the only person that you think would buy this?
No, not at all.
No,
not
15, at all. No way.
All right, then. A tenner.
You are desperate.
Got a sale?
£10, go on then.
Yes?
Well, £10, you can't go lower than that.
You can't.
It's mine, thank you.
What a relief.
Yes, it might have been a bit like pulling teeth, but the famous Hearnden charm has done it again.
Excellent, Sandra. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Don't put fruit in it. It won't look as spectacular.
No, I won't do that. Thanks very much.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Excellent. £2.40 I pay for that.
10 quid I sold it for. Wonderful.
£10 for the yellow dish brings Jonty's profit to almost £174. He's now almost 100 quid in front of his northern nemesis. But Eric's working hard to neutralise the hitman's lead and sell the hall stand for a princely sum. Jonty is hoping a bit of honesty will help him offload his squashed shark to another local lady.
So, Annie, here's our squash shark.
What is this squash shark all about, Jonty?
What do you think?
I quite like it, yeah.
What do you mean you quite like it? You're meant to love it. You love it to bits.
It's different.
Do you like it?
I'm not sure I've seen anything quite like that before.
Well, it's from France. It's 1960s and originally designed as a fruit bowl. So if you have a look closely, have a look at this glazing here. Can you see that? It's all iridescent. So if you move it around in the light, can you see this sort of like almost oily feel to it?
Yeah.
And wherever you look, it's got real movement to it, hasn't it? I thought it actually might be something that would suit your house. Do you like?
I think you got that right.
Do you like?
I do like it. I do like it.
Yours for £20.
Oh, I think I can stretch to that. It's a deal.
Excellent. I'll wrap it and pack it.
Thank you very much.
So the hitman's reeled in a buyer for his squash shark ceramic and bags himself a £12 profit. The famous Hearnden charm is really working its magic. Jonty has sold his last 2 pieces to local ladies. So guess who he's trying to sell the prints to? You guessed, another local lady.
So really, I'd be happy with £60 for the whole lot.
And how many prints did you say?
We've got 8 in all, so it's less than a tenner a print. So I think they're obviously very good value for money, but you've also got to like them enough to want to buy them.
No, I think I can go for that.
You like that?
Yeah, I'll go for those.
Excellent.
I think they're brilliant.
That's another £60 in Jonty's kitty, and the hitman has got victory in his sights. But the top gun of the antiques world is determined to shoot him down in flames, though, and is trying to make as much profit as possible from his hat stand. Don't forget, he paid just over £70 for it, and he's asked £200.
In an auction, I would be leaving quite happy if I got the hammer down at 100 and paid a bit more on it. So I'd 200. I want to sell this in the shop and at least double my money.
Yeah.
Got very expensive overheads here, Eric.
Well, I've said this before. I never haggle. I like a bit of a barter. And I like to meet people in what I call a halfway house.
I can see where you're going, Eric.
You can. Yeah. Because, you know, it's off the M40.
Yeah.
You come off at Junction 7, you find yourself here saying, what about 150? What about meeting you halfway, Anthony? Because
if I bought this for 150, I could buy it now and make my profit, turn it over quickly, because that's the trick to it. That's what I'm after. And I think this is quite a useful thing. Will appeal to anyone that comes through the shop door, so, yeah.
Oh, so we both believe in it?
Yeah.
Do we both believe in £150?
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
Well done.
It's a deal.
Hallelujah! £150 for the hall stand is a fantastic result for Eric and sends him soaring into the lead in the profit stakes.
To get 150, I think was a pretty good result. I'm rather tempted to advise Mr. Jonty Hearnden to pay this place a visit because it's full of church memorabilia. And to be frank with you, I don't think the lad's in with a prayer of a chance.
Well, thanks to that last sale, the outcome of today's clash of the antiques titans is in the lap of the gods. Despite his best efforts, Jonty's given up on selling the pair of blue ceramic plant wall hangers.
What do you mean they're revolting?
So our experts have just got one item each left to sell. The hitman is pinning his hopes on the French mirror, and Knocker's chances rest on a marble slab.
Right. Well, yet another piece that I managed to buy in La Belle, France, and I've got a friend of mine who's due here any minute who also deals in sort of reclamation amongst lots of other things, and hopefully he's going to like it.
Now, still wrapped, concealed, is my lovely French mirror I bought from the market. Now, remember, I paid €80, which roughly translated is about £60, just a bit over. Now, I've got a client here who I've given a phone call to, and I've explained clearly what the mirror is all about, but she still hasn't seen it yet. And I'm hoping I'm going to get £300 for it because I want a quick sale. And if I can get £300, that's a whopping great big margin. It's a Eric eat your heart out margin. So I'm going to see how I get on.
So, no surprises that Jonty's selling to another local lady. And if he can sell the mirror for £300, it's curtains for Eric. But it's a very big if.
Good evening, John.
How are you?
Thanks for making it.
Good to see you, my friend.
All right, we're just going to go...
Undeterred by his opponent's potential sale, Knocker's concentrating on his own game. Can he make a profit on it?
Well, this is the piece in question. I hope I've not brought you on a wild goose chase, but... what do you think, John? You know, it's a nice piece of marble, isn't it?
It's very pretty indeed. Smooth. Where do you think it's come from? What was it on originally?
Well, I think that it probably started off life maybe on a console table. It's about the right size, maybe a bit large, but it's definitely not a washstand, and it's definitely not something on top of anybody's fireplace. So the only thing that, you know, fits the bill for me is a console. So I could see it with a nice sort of mirror above it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it looks a bit dull, doesn't it?
Yes. But, Eric, do you remember when you were a child, you went down to the beach, you washed all the pebbles, you collected them, they were fabulous colours. Of course, when you got them home, they were all dry. You wonder what the fuss was about, till you put them under a tap or in a pond, and then the colour came back through again.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the colour. That rouge coming through there. Look how that comes up. So if that was in the garden, a couple of little plinths, even some bricks, dare I say, and you've got yourself a nice little garden seat as well.
Well, there's a thought. Actually, I must admit, when you did that, you know, it just took me back. I thought you were going to wash my face, because my mother had got a habit of getting a hanky, and then... Did your mother ever do that?
All the time, Eric.
Forgive me, I'm just going back to our past.
No.
With Eric reliving all his yesteryears, our resident ladies' man is hoping to strike one more time by cashing in on the French mirror. Hello.
What does Madam think?
I think it's stunning. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, it's late 19th century, it's French, and it's an oak frame mirror. And you can either polish this frame, because it will come up a lovely oak colour to go with your beams, to go with the country cottage look, or, of course, the fashion is to paint it as well. You can have a distressed look on this mirror. Now, you can tell it's the original mirror plate because of this oxidisation that's going on here. So this is an original mirror.
Well, the lady seems interested, but has Jonty persuaded her that the mirror is worth £300? Today's contest is now down to 2 negotiations, and with both experts standing on the verge of victory, Eric jumps in to try and do the first deal.
Shall we put our cards on the table? Oh, let me put my cards down first.
Please, show me yours.
OK. Well, I was looking for somewhere in the region of around about, well, let's say £45.
Should we say something less than that, perhaps?
Well, I knew you were going to say that, because you were hardly likely to say it was going to be any more, weren't you? All right, what do you think? What do you think?
Well, £30 sounds right to me.
Yes, it might sound right to you, but it's not ringing true in my ears, John. OK, well, look, I'd love to say £30 to you, but I'm not. I'll tell you what I'm going to say, because it's just got a slightly better ring to it. Let's say 35.
Shall we?
Shall we say 35?
I think I'll be very happy with that.
OK, well, that's 2 happy
Indeed.
Characters.
Thank you very much.
So Knocker's rung up his last sale of the day, and he's now in the lead. Jonty may have 1 item left, but he has to sell it in order to win, and there are no guarantees of success. He's worked hard to persuade his buyer that the mirror is a bargain, but has he done enough to convince her to take it off his hands?
When I got back, I saw in a shop a similar inferior-looking mirror for sale at £450, but yours for £300.
Well, I think Madeline would like it, please.
Excellent. Can I carry it through?
Yes, please. Yes, this way.
That's a deadly final sale for the hitman. He's made an incredible £236 profit on the mirror, and he's a very happy dealer.
I love to see people fall in love with the items that I've bought. It really is a special part about being a dealer. And until you are one, you'll never experience that wonderful connection between buyer and seller.
So, after slugging it out for weeks on end, how much cash have our experts made from their French extravaganza? Hitman Hearnden used up almost half his money. Knocker Knowles just about dipped into his bank account and spent £122. But what will they think of each other's bargains?
Bonjour, monsieur, ça va?
How are you doing? So, how is it for you?
Well, it was interesting, yes. I've decided to take French lessons, you know,
That does help.
if only to stay solvent.
Now, one thing I'm dying to know is how did you get on with that marble slab?
I found a willing buyer, that's
Did you?
as much as I'm going to say, yeah.
Okay. Did you have thick glasses by
No,
any chance?
no, just a thick wallet. What about yourself?
Well, I did quite well on a few things. I sold my wardrobe to a dealer. Yeah.
A dealer?
Well, I'm so glad I didn't have to do all the work because it needs a shed load of work spending on it, I have to say.
To be honest with you, I thought it looked like a shed. I'm staggered anybody'd want it, but there you go, what do I know?
Right, ready for this?
I'm ready.
Should we do it?
Okay, hang on a second, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
£450? I don't believe it, that's not profiteering, that's piracy. My God, what on earth? So I'm here, listen, I'm on a learning curve, monsieur.
Well, it's not fine art, I can tell you that
No,
much.
maybe it's not. But one thing I did learn while I was there was how to appreciate a good glass of Bordeaux. So I think it's up to you to help me drown my sorrows.
Let me take you there. Owe you a drink. I knew that Eric might be struggling in the French market because it's kind of like new territory for him. But I didn't realise I was going to beat him by that much. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another challenge, so I'm not complacent yet.
When it comes to tomorrow, my positivity levels are up there. I mean, trust me, I have not peaked yet, obviously. So watch out, Jonty Hearnden.
Well, it's been a battle of epic proportions, but most importantly, both our brave warriors have made a profit. And those profits will be going to a good cause.
My chosen charity is the Chiltern Centre for Disabled Children, based in Henley-on-Thames. And it's a centre that supports local children, younger folk with learning and physical disabilities.
Well, I'm going to be doing battle for my chosen charity, which is Headway. Now, I just happen to be patron, and Headway do a fantastic nationwide job helping those poor folk who've suffered from debilitating brain and head injuries.
But the competition doesn't stop here. Tomorrow, our experts will go head-to-head again to raise money for their favourite charities when they find themselves at an antiques market.
I know it's here, and believe me, I'm looking for it.
Amazing, I'm on a genuine high.